What's up guys, it's Nimbus Reviews here, back with another One Piece video. I thought it would be fun to talk about my thoughts and predictions for Zoro and Sanji's fight with the Calamities, King and Queen, and I'm personally more interested in Zoro versus King, so I thought I'd start with that, and with that being said, let's hop right into the discussion. For me at least, the biggest thing for this fight is how will Oda make it live up to what Zoro has already done on the rooftop against two of the Yonko earlier this arc. Not only did he block Ocean sovereignty and attack from both Kaido and Big Mom, but he was also able to scar Kaido while he was in his hybrid form, as well as displaying Conqueror's Haki for the first time, and seemingly the advanced coding Conqueror's Haki as well, which is what allowed him to scar Kaido when he was in his hybrid form. Because of all that, I, along with many other people, were concerned that if he didn't go back to the rooftop to fight against Kaido, would he be able to have a satisfying fight against King? This is what led me to wanting to make a video discussing how I think this fight will still be fun and interesting to read, even though Zoro isn't against someone like Kaido or Big Mom. I think there are a few factors Oda will use to make this fight interesting for us as the readers. So I'd like to go over what I think those factors are in this video, starting with King and his race. So obviously Oda has already revealed a few things about King's race in the recent chapters, and I think it will continue to be a driving interest in this fight. I don't think we will get everything there is to know about King's race, but I at least want to know what he looks like under his gimp suit, and maybe even learn why the Red Line was known as the land of the gods, presumably before the celestial dragons even got there. The next thing that I think will be an important factor is King's fighting style and his abilities. Oda has shown us that King isn't an honorable swordsman like Zoro, and he's not above using dirty tricks to win a fight. I think this will be a great way to prepare Zoro for his fight with someone like Shiryu later in the story, as well as a great obstacle for Zoro to overcome, and a way to keep the actual combat and choreography of the fight interesting, and a way to differentiate this fight from all Zoro's previous fights. Because of all the weird abilities that we already know from King, we can expect Zoro to have to overcome some very strange obstacles that he hasn't seen in the past, such as King's ability to fly. We've never seen Zoro fight anyone who's been known to fly, at least in a full battle. So him having to learn to deal with that against King will be very interesting, at least for me, because we haven't seen anything like that from Zoro, especially against someone who's able to match Zoro on strength. Because we even seen with Pika, Oda had to go out of his way to give Pika a weird ability because there was no one aside from Doflamingo and Fujitora on the island who can give Zoro a real challenge. And obviously Zoro couldn't fight Fujitora and he couldn't defeat Doflamingo because that was Law and Luffy's fight. So to see that again, but with someone who's able to match Zoro in strength and speed and most likely Haki and everything, I think will be very interesting and will be a good way for Zoro to be able to push past his limits like he has in the past versus people like Mr. One and Kaku. I'm really expecting this fight will be something like that and not like a fight like versus Pika or somebody else who he's easily taken out like the octopus guy Hachi from Arlong Park. Because as a lot of fans know and think, Zoro really hasn't been pushed to his limits since we've entered the New World. Like all the people he's fought, Monet, the octopus guy from Fisherman Island, Pika, and nobody really else. He fought Killer when he was kind of crazy, but that doesn't really count. He's never really had a full fight where he had to go all out, besides with Kaido now. But Kaido's way above his pay grade. Zoro couldn't defeat Kaido. Obviously, that's Luffy's fight and Yamato's fight and whatever. So it was great to see him go all out against someone like Kaido, but obviously that couldn't be his end fight of the game. He has to be able to defeat the person he's going against. So I'm really hoping that King will be that person who pushes him to his limit, but he's also able to defeat. And I also think that can be a cool moment coming from the drug, because we know that it made him recover, it healed all of his injuries, but after it wears out, the pain is going to be 2 times worse than what it was before. So we can get a moment like nothing happened back in Thriller Bark again, just proving that Zoro can push past his limits just to make his captain reach his goals, and he can play his role as second in command in the crew. So Zoro finally displaying or awakening his Conqueror's Haki on the roof against Kaido has opened this fight up to be a way for Zoro to finally show his understanding and skill in using this ability. And if this really was his awakening of his Conqueror's Haki, that was his first use of it, then this fight would then become an opportunity to develop and learn how to use it on command for Zoro. I'm a huge fan of Zoro, but I believe this was definitely his first time of consciously using Conqueror's Haki. He may have used it in the past unconsciously, like perhaps during the time skip while he was training with Mihawk, but I don't think he was able to consciously use it or be aware that he consciously used it like he did with this time versus Kaido. So I expect this to be a fight where he learns to use it properly and consciously. In a previous video, I talked about how I believe swordsmen inherently learn how to use Ryuo when they start to imbue their blades with haki, because the act of using Ryuo was explained very similarly to how Zoro's old master explained swordsmen being able to cut everything and nothing at the same time by hearing the breath of all things around them. That, as well as swordsmen already having to learn to flow their haki into an item, like you have to flow your haki into the enemy when you're using Ryuo, or into the outside of your body to form a sort of coating around yourself like invisible armor, makes me think that swordsmen are already able to use Ryuo to a certain extent, because the basics of them learning how to use haki to coat their blades is the same as the basics of learning to use Ryuo. That would also explain how people like Kinemon, Ashura Doji, Kiku were able to use Ryuo even though they're not particularly that strong swordsmen. I think it will be the same for Conqueror's coating. If Zoro is already aware of coating something outside of his body with haki, then I think doing it with Conqueror's haki should come easier to him than it did to Luffy. Luffy was never shown to coat anything but himself with haki, so learning to coat the outside of his body to be able to hit an enemy without touching them, and even being able to force that haki into other things to destroy them, was completely a new concept. Now, I don't think Zoro will become better than Luffy with this ability, but I do think he will pick up the basics much faster than Luffy did. And his fight with King provides a perfect opportunity for him to do so, especially if King has Conqueror's haki as well, and has ability to use it as a coating form. This will give Zoro the opportunity to witness somebody use a coating and learn from it. Another reason why I think Zoro will finally start to learn and understand Conqueror's coating is because Yamato is able to use it freely and at will. So if she does end up joining the crew, I don't think Oda would want to mess up the power dynamic between Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro with being the monster trio. So I think Zoro will definitely need to learn how to use Conqueror's coating to be above Yamato in power by the end of this arc. But yeah guys, that's basically all of my thoughts and predictions for Zoro vs King. Let me know why you are interested in this fight and how you think it will play out in the comments below. I love to hear people's thoughts on topics like these because the possibilities are endless and you always hear different things. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video discussing my thoughts and predictions for Sanji vs Queen, so don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see that. I might even do a part 3 talking about the fight between Kaido, so it'd be Kaido versus Luffy, Yamato, maybe Momonosuke, and Marco, assuming Marco does end up on the roof. That one I'm not so sure about, so maybe look out for that, maybe not, but for sure I'm making the Sanji vs Queen one, and I also have a video on Momonosuke and Yamato coming out. Well, basically new members in general, new crew members joining, but it's going to be mainly about them and me defending my points for Momonosuke joining the crew after Wano over. Plus, you can probably expect the chapter 1026 chapter prediction video coming out soon, since we are on break this week and we aren't going to be getting a chapter. I figured I can do a prediction video talking about the next chapter. But yeah, that's basically all guys. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.